pizza. Holy. Gluten-free pizza is very sad oftentimes and forlorn and just really kind of a mess. And when you can get it in the store, it's typically too expensive for me because I can't do gluten, soy. My wife can't do dairy. But here's a recipe that I found that is fast, easy, and tastes pretty fucking good. Namaste. Excellent for pizza. We'll also be using salt, sugar, yeast, olive oil, and some hot water. Okay. Thermometer, so that we know the actual temperature of the hot water, so that the yeast blooms as appropriate, because we don't want to get over 115. 115, max. 110, safe zone. 116, no zone. No. We're gonna be using a rolling pin. Let's roll. Let's roll. Gluten-free, let's roll. This will help you. However, if you don't have a rolling pin, that's fine. Use a jar. Use a heavy jar. One of these, that's fine. Roll it. Who cares? I don't care. We're gonna use a sheet pan of some sort. You got a circle one? Great. You got a square one? I don't care. Have you ever wanted to bake something in the oven, but you didn't want it to stick? Have you ever felt like baking something and you were like, I don't want to deal with this mess? Parchment paper. Have you ever felt like people just didn't understand you? Parchment paper. We're gonna add in a teaspoon and a half. And then we're gonna stir that so that it dissolves. Then we're gonna take our yeast. We need 1 packet, which is 2 1/4 teaspoons. 1, 2, 3. 2 1/4. I'm gonna stir that in. While we wait for the yeast to bloom, we're gonna go ahead and get started with the dry ingredients. 2 1/2 cups of flour. 1 teaspoon of salt. Couldn't you just mix that by hand? I could. And I could. Am I going to? No. Why? Because. And this is how you know the yeast is active. It's starting to bubble and do some crazy stuff on top. Perfect. So I'm going to mix in the wets with the dries. Adding in 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Seems good. Oh, you know what it's time to do? Preheat the freaking oven, you guys. Golly. If it's too dry still, just add some more water, okay? Especially if you're not using the flour that I used. Gluten-free flours are gonna react completely differently. I'm just gonna come back in and scrape these sides. It's all blended in. We're gonna cover it, let it rest for a couple minutes. Parchment. Woo, that's a lot more than I needed. That's okay. Put our dough ball right in the middle. Now, it's still a little sticky. That's okay. So what we're gonna do on our next sheet, we're gonna spray the top. The bottom I'm not so concerned with. I'm gonna start to squish it. The rolling pin. Now, I'm sure some of y'all are looking at this like, what is wrong with this woman? That is not how you roll a dough. Okay. This is how I roll a dough. I don't care what shape my pizza is. As long as it cooks fine, I don't care. So, it's kind of rectangular. Kind of. Check on it. If it's weird on the side, like it's overlapping, you see that there? I'm just gonna fold it back in and I'm gonna do it again. All right, I'm feeling pretty good about this. All right, let's talk sauce for a minute, just a minute. I don't care for the pizza sauce at the grocery store. I think it's too salty and gross. Do I want to make my own? No. Costco sells this. Organic tomato and basil. Great, that's what I use. And that's what I use. I like a lot of sauce. The best part is the cheese. Manchego cheese, sheep's milk cheese. So my wife can't have dairy, but she can have sheep's milk. Perfect. So I started to experiment with manchego on pizza. Does it taste like mozzarella? Kinda. It is light and creamy and nutty and like buttery. It's closer, I would say, to like a Romano or a Pecorino. But what I found is when cooking it on pizza, is it starts to melt. When it's well done, it turns golden brown. It melts in such a way that it just brings out this like salty, lovely texture. And it's fantastic. So gluten-free or non-gluten-free, try this on a pizza. Let me know how it goes. I'm gonna cut off the rind. You don't want the rind. It's not gonna hurt you, but you definitely don't want it. It's waxy. Obviously, Costco has it, okay? But so does like my local Kroger, my local Publix. It's got a little bit of hardness to it, so even at like room temperature, it's gonna shred a lot easier than a mozzarella, period. My dog's walking over because she hopes that I drop some little shreds of cheese. And usually I do. If it kind of breaks up into small chunks, I just throw them in there. They're gonna melt. Now we're gonna put this in the oven, 22 minutes. Hulk smash! I'm gonna say like 2 minutes more. Oh, it's close. It's close. Can you hear it still sizzling? Look at the monster slices. Oh. A beautiful piece of pizza. Holy shit. It's still too hot, but it's good as hell. You want me to make your pizza? Comment below. All right, leftovers. Ow.